Okay. Just open this real quick. Okay. Penny Pog, hello. Ved. Xerox. Hey man, that's not, what is it? N1XE, I'm not sure what that's supposed to say. Is that supposed to be nice? Hello. Welcome everyone. Alright, in the description you'll see the changes this month in different from last month, but I'm gonna pin a message here as well. Do not break it up. If you add commas, it's not going to count. Here's the thing. So like a friend of mine made a program, so I don't have to get a mod to watch the chat and grab all the IDs anymore, right? Also make sure Monowara on mobile, it auto-corrected to I''D, and yeah, that's not gonna fly. So just submit it again. So basically, what this program's gonna do is, actually, hold on. Please put your IDs in again in a second. Ayo, what? Hold on. Copy link address. That. Nice. Okay. Put your IDs in now, please. So, make sure in the description I put a perfect example. That's all you need to do is the ID, well, the letters ID and then a colon and then your ID, right? But you need to have the letters ID, you need to have the colon, don't put an apostrophe. Make sure not to break your ID up, because if there's like a space or a comma or something, then your ID gets listed as the first numbers and then it stops after that, right? So there you go. It should be red, yeah. It's working right now. I just started the bot, so it should be good. Should I put it though? Going to be the third time you review it. If you don't want to review, just put your ID. That'll enter you in the giveaway, and then you don't, and that's all. I'm not going to review any IDs that don't have like a question related to it. And that's why I do that. It's partially because like not everybody needs or wants a review. A lot of people come in, they drop their ID, and then they leave. So like if you don't have time, you don't care that much, then it's a good way for me to like figure out who actually cares, who wants it. Yeah. By the way, if you get it wrong, like, if you get your ID wrong and you have to do it again, just submit it again and the bot will replace it with the most recent one. Which means that if you put an ID in for a friend, it's going to replace yours. So please don't do that. One ID per person. Anyway, let me finish up this. Here we go. Okay, that's right. Would be nice for people who come in later if you put in a pinned message telling them what to do for the giveaway. Oh, I know. I was working on the pinned message that entire time. I was just like trying to explain it first. Because it's a good idea to explain it before like writing it down. That way you can be like, oh, because I almost left out the part where like you shouldn't separate your ID in the pinned message. I almost left that part out. I thought ID was for giveaway. It's for both. If you don't want your hangar reviewed or you don't care, then just put your ID and that's it. We'll obviously put like the keyword thing, right? And that'll enter you in the giveaway. I'm not reviewing anything unless I get some kind of question related to hangar, related to your hangar, attached to your message, right? So to get tips from your reviews on other hangars, no giveaway for me, no A coins for me, no ID included. Fair enough. I do try to make sure that when I review people, I'm giving, good reasons and an explanation, not just for them, but for anyone who's watching, who's like, oh, I also have a similar hangar, or I also have that build, and he's saying that build isn't very good, and here's why. And so, not many people see another person's review and, apply that to themselves, but some people do, and I appreciate that. Octane, make sure to put in the letters ID, look at the description, look at the pinned message. Otherwise, your ID will not be counted. Let's look at Joker first, though. (363) 10,409. Says, should I buy missile rack for Bastion and use EM12 on Surge, or should I get EM12 for Surge? What does he have right now? He already has. This is the wrong guy. 363 10409. Okay. We should get. Oh, I see. We should get Ember 12. I thought I read that as EM12. Should I get Ember 12 for Surge and Epic range with Epic range and put EM12 on Bastion? EM rifle, Bastion, Aegis, even Vortex. None of those are really any good. I don't recommend EM rifle tanks. It is better on Surge. Of all of the mechs that you have here, Surge is definitely the one that I would put it on. EM12 anyway. Ember 12 is a great weapon, but unless you have Nomad, it's kind of no point. If you got Eclipse, let's stretch goals, right? If you got Eclipse, then putting EMs on Eclipse would be fantastic, and then you could put the Embers on Surge, and that would be great. If you got Nomad, then you can put the Ember on Nomad, but I think as it is, this is fine. Missile Rack for Bastion, I'm assuming that would be in place of this Aegis. It's not bad. Graviton Beam Bastion, Missile Rack Bastion, both are pretty good. It kind of just depends. Yeah. It'd be hard to say specifically. I would say your hangar is not particularly fast. RuFFles is still learning. Give him a chance. Wait, what? You already did the giveaway format? Oh, okay, okay. Well, you can tack your question at the end of it, by the way. It'll still count it. You just need to make sure that that part ID, you don't need to put a space, and it's also not case sensitive. So like it could be lowercase, just make sure that it doesn't like autocorrect to put an apostrophe in there. So it's not too specific. You don't have to be too specific with it. Hangar question. In some time I will max either... Okay, convict, if you didn't already put your ID with the keyword, make sure you do that. If you want to enter the giveaway, that is. Otherwise, no worries. In some time I will max either Panther or Gatecrasher, which will be the better to do, Panther. And keep EM16s and replace the other with Vortex. I have that from playoff. Okay, Panther for sure. It's always Panther. Gatecrasher's kind of mid at best. And I think it would do you some good too. EMs. Interesting. Max Panther. A Vortex in here. What's the other here? Okay, so you have an Orion as well. Disc Launcher Bastion. Interesting. Vortex in here. This is not great. I almost feel like it would be better if you swapped these builds. Or these builds even, possibly. Missile Rack on Nomad. Disc Launcher on Bastion. Well, Disc Launcher Bastion kind of sucks, though, is the problem. I don't know. I haven't really tried Disc Launcher Nomad, so you would have to tell me if that works good at all. I imagine it kind of I imagine it kind of sucks. This is fine. This is fine. Though you might end up wanting the Missile Rack on Vortex, not gonna lie. What would you want? I mean, Ember Gun is available for 8 coins now. So if I'm being honest, I would say you should probably try to max Nomad first. Because here's the thing. You could put Ember Guns on it, but there's only one. It's only the 12. Only the 12 is available for 8 coins. The rest you'd have to buy. So in order to use an Ember Gun Nomad, you would have to use 2 12s. Probably you have, you know, at least close to the blueprints to duplicate it. Which means probably it's a good idea to just max the Nomad first. Get the Ember 12s on it. But I suppose in the meantime, what you could do, if you have Fragment Gun 8, you could get Ember, put it on Surge, put a frag like 12 and 8 on Nomad, just so it has a good close quarters weapon, and then you could max Panther and then put the Vortex in here. But eventually you'll want the Ember on Nomad. Eventually, not a bad idea though. Not a bad idea. Is Seeker immune to EMP sometime after he teleports Yes, it is completely invulnerable for 1 second while it's teleporting both directions, right? So after it presses its ability, it has 1 second where it's invincible, and then when it teleports over, it has another second where it's invincible. So yeah, nothing can damage it, nothing can affect it. That kind of stuff. Guys, make sure you're looking at the pinned message. It's important. You're not going to enter the giveaway otherwise. Red, I'm going to look at yours. I have not looked at yours in a minute, and I'm sure it is a thing of beauty. Oh, okay. Which one am I looking at? Probably not that one. I'm going to assume this one, because he said he's been using a lot of radius stuff. Wanted to see what your thoughts about. I mean, missile weapons are great right now. They're very, very, very strong. I would say... I would say, I mean, swapping these two would actually do you better. Because Seeker's better with Stormrank and Eclipse is better with Railgun. I think that's a worthy swap. Nomad would be the best choice for Railgun. However, nothing else would really do well with Disruptor, so it's worth keeping it this way. It is a really good Disruptor mech, I'm not gonna lie. Cryo Hemlock, regular nades are better. If you can get and duplicate regular nades, I think you'll like them better. I don't know if you have them duplicated, but I'm sure you have it. But yeah, it's a lot more damage, slightly less range, but like it doesn't matter. And the burst on Cryo sucks. You will absolutely love using regular nades over them. Missile Rack Solus. I have found that I kind of prefer Disruptor Solus over Missile Rack or even Storm Rack, which is interesting. I guess it's just because it's so squishy. Like, Disruptor requires basically 0 exposure time. So that's worth mentioning, I think. But nice Max Solus. Yeah, the only thing I'd really swap is the Eclipse and Seeker. Once again, everybody, make sure you're reading the pinned comment and the description that tells you how to enter the giveaway portion of this. Because if you don't do it right, then your ID is not going to be registered for the giveaway. Okay? I just want that to be known. Okay, hold on. What does my hangar need right now? Eclipse Disc Launcher still works well for me. I used it recently, literally as a 12k hangar against a person, like against a player. It worked fantastic. I killed the player with it 3 times with the radius. I killed him 3 times with the radius. So like it's really not bad. I'm assuming this is the I love that this one's technically stronger than this one is. That's great. Okay. Your hangar needs... I would say a brawler of some kind. Because here's the thing. This is a good brawler, right? Good close quarters damage. This does a lot of good damage, and it's effective up close. This does a lot of good damage. You know, Graviton Beam has crazy DPS, but the thing is that this is the only build that actually gets close. Panther is kind of like a hide in the back type of mech. You don't want to get close with it. It's too easy for people to get through your barrier and kill you. Guardian, the system crash is more of a last resort. You don't want to be aggressive with this thing because it's squishy, obviously. So yeah. But at the same time, like, what would you put in here? I mean, obviously the Redox is the one that should be swapped, realistically. You know, if we're being realistic about it, the Redox is really holding you back. You also have 0 HP whatsoever. So instead of a really slow Redox, you could have, like, a tank of literally any kind. It could be Aegis, which is faster and has more HP and has a much better ability. And basically everything. It's basically everything about it is better. And then you can try to put some good DPS weapons on it. It's still not like a super aggressive tank, but it is better. It is better. Yeah. All this stuff's very weak in terms of HP. I like the Redox though. I see a question. I'm not gonna look at your. I'm not gonna look at your hanger, hanger, because this is a very obvious question. Ruma Paul, should I upgrade Nomad? Yes, you should. Nomad is like the 3rd best mech in the game. The 3 legendary scouts that are currently in the game are the best mechs to invest in. Okay, hold on. I missed what he said. Do you think I should spend the 7,400 A coins to max Eclipse since I don't have the blueprints? Probably. That is what I typically do, just because, like, I'm not even kidding. It's not worth waiting that long. If there's anything, like, are you going to get, let's say, are you going to get, like, some crates from the playoff? Like, there's that crate playoff going on right now. Because if you are, then I would say, you know, at very least wait until that ends. See if you can save yourself some A coins just by getting 1, maybe 2 blueprints. But realistically, I think it's like, I want to say I calculated this recently. Well, I know I calculated it recently, but I want to say it was like every 300 or so silver crates is when you will get 1 legendary blueprint of any specific thing. Just on average, like the statistical average is that. So like it's a lot. And yeah, and that's for one Eclipse blueprint. So it's like, yeah. But before you do it, obviously open all your crates, get as many blueprints as you can, because even if you get 1 blueprint, it's still saving you 248 coins, which is pretty nice. But honestly, it's probably worth doing. It's nice, though. Got a lot of good builds going, you just gotta max some mechs. Very nice. Any thoughts on my first hangar, as it is for achievement grinding? Okay, well, if it's for achievements, then, like, I'm gonna tell you, don't do that. You should do this. Uh, and then you're just gonna be like, oh no, it's for achievements. So it's like I can't really say anything. And then second hangar set up properly as a down tier hangar. So basically, you're trying to tank, but you are hoping that maybe people would think that it's fair in some way. I would not think that it's fair. And once again, it's one of those situations where it doesn't matter what I say. I'll be like, no, that's probably not a good idea. This doesn't work well. But then you'll just be like, oh, well, you know, I'm trying to tank, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It'd be pointless for me to even look at it. Okay, Xerox. Shall I get Panther or Orion? Or for this, I should upgrade my 2-star Hemlock. Ooh, I do like Hemlock. Panther or Orion. You could easily go without using Panther or Orion, especially since you have good mechs already. You know? Like, neither of these are things that you want to keep, by the way. You want to get rid of both of these about as quickly as possible. Replacing this with a Hemlock would be fantastic, because Missile Rack Hemlock is great. You already have a Nomad, so that's fantastic. Redeemer's pretty good. Aegis is very good. And then, like, you just replace this with some type of sniper. Panther and Orion both work well for that. So I suppose you could get that too. But I would say, generally speaking, I would say probably just work with what you already have. Because, like I said, you don't need, like, you could easily go without using Panther or Orion. Like, I still don't have a Max Panther. I've basically never used it. So, you know, that'll tells you that much. I use Orion a lot, but, you know, it's not like I need to. It's just because I think it's kind of fun. Let me look at it. Okay, yeah. Yeah, 2 fast max tank. That's pretty good. You'll want that for, like, burst DPS. You do want a sniper, though, for sure. Okay, Octane. Soon I'll max Panther and put 2 EM rifles on it. I'll also max Surge and put Ember Guns. What should I put on Orion, and what should I put instead of Brick House? Ooh. So, EM Rifle Panther. And then Ember Gun Surge. Okay, that's good. Because Mortar Panther is atrocious. And I'm sure you know that Arc Torrent's not fantastic. Mortars on Brick House wouldn't be bad. The problem is it's very low. So, like, there's kind of no point upgrading it. It is probably a better idea to just replace it. Orion's really only good with snipers, to be honest. It's kind of sad, but it is true. A railgun on Orion would be pretty nice. A single railgun 16 would fill the energy pretty well. The problem with that is that you're not gonna, like, ultimately railgun 16 isn't worth it for you to get because you already have EM rifle 16. So you'd want railgun 12, which is still worth getting because it's the best. It's definitely the best weapon for Orion. It's definitely the best weapon for Surge. It's definitely the best weapon for Nomad and probably Killshot. Let's be honest. If you're replacing Brick House, you should probably replace it with a tank. Something with good DPS. Because nothing that you have has good DPS, I'll be honest. So Aegis is pretty easy to get. You might already have it. So Aegis with, I'm trying to think, what's a good like 8 energy weapon that has good DPS. The problem is like there's some good ones, but not necessarily worth, you know, the amount of resources they cost or whatever. Maybe missile rack. Missile rack on Aegis. Yeah, you got the speed. That's fine. You'd have the range. You're just missing a bit of DPS, and you're missing a solid tank. Like you're anything that could hold a beacon pretty well. So that's what I would recommend. Should I buy Surge or double minigun 12? Okay. Also, Cobra. Make sure to add the colon, the 2 dots. That is important. Your ID will not be registered for the giveaway otherwise. Look at the description, look at the pinned message. Copy that to a T, please. Okay, I see what he's saying. Well, it's only level 3. There's no point in spending A-coins to get it up levels, because it's still pretty cheap to upgrade it. Like, as far as things go, it's not that bad. This is terrible. You want to replace this about as quickly as possible. So yeah, definitely search. Aw, he has a tanker hangar. And he's, of course, it's a kill shot, bro. Why do you kill shot stands always need some freaking tanker hangers? I swear. It's sad. Anyway, yeah, this build's not great. Carbines aren't... I want to be careful when I say this, because I don't want anyone to think that they're good. But carbines are not that terrible on Surge. Let me put it that way. They're still worse than most things, but they're actually not that terrible on Surge. So there is that. A Max Chungus, that's actually kind of fantastic. Yeah, I would get Surge. The minigun you can always duplicate later. It should be 20... or no, like 1875 A-coins. So there's no point in like buying blueprints if that's what you were gonna do. Ramsey should have spent the 7,400 A-coins to max Eclipse. I already did that. Brother, were you not paying attention? That's so sad. Am I allowed to put my ID in and go? Yes, absolutely. That's part of the reason I ask people to add a question if they want their hangar reviewed. Otherwise, you are free to put your ID in and leave, and if you win the giveaway, then you win the giveaway. But make sure you do it right. Make sure you put the, you know, the letters ID and then a colon, and then followed by your ID number. Don't put commas or spaces or anything in between the numbers of your ID, otherwise it won't count. I am using a bot that a friend made that is going to... It basically uses the letters ID colon, where it uses the characters ID colon, as the keyword. So, like, you got to make sure that you get that right. Make sure you don't have, like, an apostrophe in there or something. Ramsey, I did your... Oh, I must have did it literally when you left. What I said was... The TLDR was basically just... If you have, like, open as many crates as possible just to see if you get a lucky blueprint. And then, yes, go ahead and do it, because it's going to take forever to save up the blueprints. It's not worth waiting, really. That's my experience. Craigster, I don't know if you already submitted your ID with the keyword, but make sure to do that if you didn't. So Lenny, Panther Missile Rack 12 or Graviton 10. Rank up Aegis for Minigun 10 or Nomad for Ember 12. Ooh. Both are very good. You can't use double Ember you can't use double Ember 12 on Nomad until it is maxed. But this you could use, like you already have 2 of them. You could use this the moment you get Bastion or Aegis to rank 6. Aegis is closer, so I would imagine you go for that. So that's probably the better choice right now. In terms of like this build right here, I don't know how I feel about this build, but probably Missile Rack 12 is better than Graviton 10. If you're using a single one, especially, because 3 seconds for a single implosion is forever, and you're probably not going to get very many implosions off of that. At very least, you could have like some solid burst damage in a pinch, you know, if your minigun's reloading or something. You might be able to make that work, honestly. Azurite. Currently working on upgrading my weapons. After, should I get EM12 and Archangel for my Redeemer? For first Hangar CPC, or get Nade Bastion for second 2v2. I'm not the best at 2v2, so I'm not going to consider myself like the take my advice with a grain of salt when it comes to 2v2, I would say. This is for CPC, this is for 2v. Okay. EM12 and Archangel for Redeemer. Yeah. I mean, if you plan on sticking with Redeemer, EM Rifle 12 is good. Otherwise, like, you already have the 16, you're probably not going to use two EM builds. But you also probably won't use 2 heavy sniper builds. So I suppose, yeah, you could use a 12 and an, well, here, you could get the 12. You'd use a 12 and an 8 until you max it, and then you can just use a 16 and an 8. So, like, you don't have to bother like duplicating your 12, really, if you don't want to, unless it would cost less, which it might, because otherwise you'd have to like rank up EM16 and EM8, and they both cost more individually. But it depends on what you want to do. All of these are pretty good, except I'll be honest, I think you should swap these 2 builds. I think you'll do better with it that way. Bastion doesn't really need that much burst damage because it's, you know, it's a tank, it's kind of slow. It's one of the few mechs that works really well with Graviton Beam. Surge as well, but I think Surge works better with Missile Rack. And I think Bastion would probably work better with Gravitons. So I would recommend swapping those 2. In terms of nade launcher for Bastion in 2v2, yeah, that's probably not a bad idea, because Graviton's not so much a 2v2 weapon. Just went back and saw your review. Thanks for the input. No worries. And I have a lot of crates stored up, so wondering if I should wait for a legendary blueprint modifier or just open them all. I think the last arbitrary, just like, you know, every legendary blueprint gets higher chance. I think that tends to be roughly like twice a year, so it's like every 6 months. So I'm not sure if that's necessarily worth waiting for. But at the same time, actually, I think you should do some research, because I think in a couple of months is the game's anniversary, question mark. I think it is. And I'm fairly certain that they will do it then, because I think they did last year. And it just kind of makes sense. So that's probably a good idea. Jaco, welcome. Yes. Make sure you put the colon in after the letters ID, yeah. It's not case sensitive, but you do need the colon. Make sure that your ID isn't broken apart. Just follow the examples that I have in the pinned message and also in the description. Okay. Which build should I change? I'm planning to replace Zephyr with Redeemer and Sentinel with Orion. Fair. I will max my Meko and Rosa pilots for maximum damage possible. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm very sorry for you already. It costs so much. The amount that it costs to rank up a rare pilot from level 5 or from rank 5 to rank 6, I'm fairly certain is enough to get an epic pilot to rank 4, which would have better stats and an extra implant slot. Do not ever get rare pilots past rank 4. That is my advice to everyone. If you already did, then stop as soon as possible. Cut your losses, please, because rare pilots are not worth investing in. They give you crap in terms of stat bonuses and stuff. It's not even just the implants, like the stat bonuses as well. It is absolutely not worth it. Replacing Zephyr with Redeemer and Sentinel with Orion is not bad. It's a reasonable decision. Yeah. But if I were you, to be honest, if I were you, I would actually spend those A coins on epic pilots instead, or even legendary ones for that matter. Epic are pretty good. They're cheaper, but at the same time, like, they're worse, you know? Like, you could just spend more and get a better pilot. But, you know, if you don't want to, then that's understandable. But rares are just never worth it. They're absolutely never worth it. Not sure if my hangar was already covered, but I appreciate any advice. Okay, well, I'm looking for more specific questions, right? Because I don't really know what I'm looking at otherwise. I don't know what I'm walking into. Should I get EM8 or Minigun 8 my stalker? Probably EM8. If you're going to get either. EM Rifle 8's the best long term. I don't think anyone would really use Minigun 8 long term. But legendary 8 energy weapons aren't really worth getting, in my opinion. Should I go for dual arc 10? The answer is probably no, but let me see. Let me read the rest of it as well. Arc 10 for Guardian and eventually pass the arcs to Surge. Or are we going for dual chain gun 10 Aegis be viable, or should I do something else? Okay. This is a more specific question, by the way. The kind of thing that I'm looking for. Interesting, interesting, interesting. This build right here is already better than a double arc 10 build would be. Do not change it. You'd have to replace your implants. You'd have to level up those. You'd have to level up your arc 10 to rank 6. It's not worth it. Focus on the 12, because at some point you'll get rid of the 8 and you'll only be using the 12. You might use like the 12s on Surge or something, right? So mostly upgrade the 12. Well, also they cost the same amount, right? Like these two weapons cost the same amount in credits and blueprints to upgrade. And the 8 actually costs slightly more to rank up. The 8 and the 16 cost the same amount. So it costs slightly more to rank up. So it is just generally more cost effective to put your resources into the higher energy one because it gives you the most additional damage per level. So there's that as well. Duplicating Graviton Beam 10 would actually be pretty good as well. Actually, double Grav 10 on Guardian would probably be a better choice. And then for Panther, you're gonna want a sniper, honestly. The game is basically unplayable on certain maps without a sniper. So if you lose on certain, you probably lose very consistently on like the Mech Arena map, and quite possibly also Elon Station. Those two are very sniper heavy, and that would be the reason why. It's because you don't have a sniper. Should I buy Nade 8 or Missile Rack 8? Wait, is Nade Launcher 8 for credits? I forget. If it's for credits, get the Nade 8. No, I mean, it's an 8 energy epic weapon. I feel like it's not really worth spending the amount of 8 coins that they try to get you to spend on it, right? Because they charge you about as much as they'd charge you for a 12 or a 16, which is just absurd. Shelly, you're new. Welcome. It's 8 coins? Okay. Well, if you can, get neither. And just get something that costs credits. Because, which you may or may not be able to do. If you have to get one of them for the sake of, like, progression or something, probably Missile Rack 8's better. Alright, Public Buzz. I'm thinking of purchasing either Disruptor 10 or Railgun 12. Railgun 12 is definitely better. Railgun 12 helps with my firepower, which I lack a bit on. Going around and start. And Disruptors help with anti-camping, which I'm also lacking. Anti-camping... There are general, like, playstyles and strategies that can help with anti-camping, right? Part of which could just be, like... I mean, Disc Launcher, Eclipse, and kind of Shadow are all... They all help against campers, just in general. It doesn't really matter what weapons you use on them. Well, I mean, these two, but then the Disc Launcher is just a good weapon against it. But, so yeah. Railgun 12 is definitely the better long-term weapon. Disruptor is... It's fun, but it's not the sort of thing... It doesn't do the kind of damage that you kind of want it to do. So in that regard, it's fairly similar to, like, a Missile Rack or any other missile weapon, really. It doesn't really outperform in the way that you might think it does. Railgun's just stupidly strong, so there's that. Not terrible. EM6s on Shadow. Yeah. I think part of what you're missing is tankiness. You can't take a hit worth crap. Like, you will fold to anyone who has, like, a good DPS anything. Because the only thing that you have that can actually sort of survive is this because of the ability. And even then, you have to keep your distance with this. So let's say somebody has a Nomad, right? Which is not impossible. You have an Eclipse, which is arguably better overall, but it's not tanky, right? Let's say someone has a Nomad. They could walk through most of these mechs fairly easily. Roll through, I guess, you more specifically. So if I would replace anything, I'm fairly certain you are hellbent on keeping the Stalker. So probably replace the Orion. It's not really necessary to have Orion when you're using Missile Rack anyway. So it's not like you're using an Orion build that I would consider to be like, specifically useful on Orion. It's kind of just there to be there. Dressen. Alright, let me see. I've completely changed my second hangar so it can actually be reviewed. Do you think any builds don't work? Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. I like it. This won't get any damage. I can already tell you. It's not going to do anything. 16, 16, 16, 16, 16, 20. Okay. Disc launcher on Eclipse. Helix rack on Orion. Ember shotgun on Surge. And then you could just put the stasis beam on Sentinel because Sentinel's kind of crap anyway. You do want a sniper though, so like, if I'm being fully honest, long arm 8s would probably do better than these stasis 8s. So like, if you have it, then go for it. But yeah, range is something that you kind of desperately need. Sentinel's actually not bad at range either. Because the thing with its shield is like the thing that gets a lot of people off guard. The reason that they say it sucks is because the max perk makes it seem like, it's sort of a forward tank where it's like it'll keep coming up and you can be aggressive with it, but you can't be aggressive with it because well, I have my cam, but it's like it's not that zoomed out. But like you're facing this way, right? And you have your shield. People are shooting at you. The closer you get to enemies, the further apart they are, like relatively. So like the better angle they get on you, right? So like the further away you get, the shallower their angle is, like apart from each other, if that makes any sense. So it's harder for them to like hit you in the side if you're further back, is basically what I'm saying. And that makes Sentinel pretty decent as like a backline tank. It's still not good, but yeah, it is what it is. RuFFles, look here. I looked. There you go. Neil J. I'm free to play. I'm gonna get Disc Launcher 8 for sure. But to complete Tier 5, should I buy Aegis, Redeemer, or EM Rifle 8? EM Rifle 8's very expensive. Like, you could buy Aegis and Redeemer and still save A coins by just not buying EM Rifle 8. And EM Rifle 8's the sort of thing that you probably won't use that much. So I feel like it's worth getting the 10. Because you'll get the 10, you'll duplicate the 10, right? You'll use 2 of them on a rank 6 medium mech. And medium mech, I mean, any mech. Mechs are really hard to max out. They're pretty easy to get to rank 6, though. So it's a good build that'll last you a good long time, and you won't have to waste like 7,000 A coins to get an EM Rifle 8. You are currently missing any type of HP. All of your mechs are incredibly fragile. The only kind of survivability you have is, again, the Panther, because of the ability, but it's not an aggressive mech. You be too aggressive with Panther and you instantly die. So, Aegis is the better choice for sure. And, frankly, in place of this Stalker, because I don't even know why it's here. What would you put on the Aegis? Missile Rack 8s on the Aegis would be nice, I suppose. So you could replace the Zephyr if you really want to keep the Mortars, because, you know, Mortar's better on Stalker. But otherwise, if you have another decent 8 energy weapon, then replace the Stalker, I suppose. Up to you. Hold on. Oh yeah, J-Car. Bro, Sanji's moving his car, bro. We were gonna have Sanji in here, but I don't know, man. It's already been an hour. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this, but it's the same every month. This goes on for 2 hours, and then we choose one winner, and then I'll explain more later on. Sony Indu, make sure you put the letters ID and then a colon before your ID. And if you keep spamming, you'll get yourself timed out and you won't get to enter. Okay, you don't need the quotation marks. I play video games. The quotation marks was just to indicate like what you should be looking, like what, you know, what the keyword was essentially. But okay. Trying to max my Nomad and Bastion to put Missile Rack 12 on Bastion and frags on Nomad. I don't have Ember 12 yet. Okay. Interesting, okay. I mean, frag Nomad's not bad. The Helix Cheetah, I kind of love it. It's kind of terrible, but I kind of love it at the same time. This is interesting. Disc launcher. I mean, yeah, I suppose you have your hangar set up the best that you can. In terms of long-term goals, it's not bad. Missile Rack on Bastion is not really my favorite, though. It'd be better than Disc Launcher, but there are better weapons for Bastion, to be honest. So, like, you know, if you wanted to, and probably it's more important to max your Surge, like maxing Nomad and Surge, rather than the Bastion. Bastion's good, but Surge is definitely better. But Missile Rack Surge is very good. So I would recommend that a lot more than Bastion, to be honest. But it's a solid hangar, though. Shreyash the Pro, make sure you put the keyword in, look at the description of the stream, look at the pinned comment. Make sure you know, otherwise your ID will not be entered in the giveaway. Your question is Ember 12 worth it? Yes. It is worth getting, but it is not necessarily worth getting, you know, first and foremost before everything else. Bulber Solanki. Don't forget the colon. It is not case sensitive. The ID is fine, but if you want to enter the giveaway, then you have to make sure you put the colon in there. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Once again, it's important. Look at the pinned message in the chat. Look at the description. There you go. Shelly, I'm looking for specific questions when I do reviews. I don't just pick someone out of the blue. So if you have a question about your hangar, if you want to know, like if you're thinking like, well, some of your things don't work very well, or you're losing to the same kinds of things all the time, you got a question, then please do ask it. Otherwise, it's just like an arbitrary, I'm just kind of looking at a hangar. I don't remember my hangar, this guy says. That's fantastic. RDK Crown. Should I upgrade Nomad, Max Aegis, or get Eclipse? I mean, Eclipse is not available for 8 coins. So, unless you're willing to spend money, that last one is not really on the table. These are good builds, though. You probably do want to max out your Nomad. And then the double Ember 12, that's really nice. Aegis is good, but honestly, Nomad's better. Like, the 3 legendary scouts that we have right now are kind of just, they're the best mechs in the game. They're the top 3 mechs. They really are. So, like, if you have them, I would say probably focus on those first, and then the other ones just kind of, you know, you can kind of save them for later. Plus, your Nomad's lagging behind more than your Aegis is in terms of rank right now. So it's probably a good idea to focus more on it. Have you reached a point where you became frustrated with the game and playstyles like all the sniper camping? Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I get irritated with it sometimes, but, like, at the same time, it kind of is what it is, you know? Like, realistically, every game's gonna have camping to some degree, right? Otherwise, like, if you're not camping at least a little bit, or you're not being careful, I guess, you know, if you're not being careful, then, like, you're not really at risk of dying, and what kind of game is that even? So, yeah. But I would appreciate if snipers didn't dominate so much. I do kind of hate that. The boss makes sure that your ID is registered correctly. Once again, everybody, I see multiple people who aren't including the colon. It is entirely your fault if you don't read the pinned message and the description. Just let me make that clear. You gotta include the letters ID and then a colon, and then put your ID after that. ID colon that, you know, some of these people are putting in. Skewer the local, this guy. He's got ID and then a colon and then his ID number. ID colon is the keyword. The colon is included in that. So make sure you put it in. Speaking of skewer the logo. Should I get new weapons and mechs or focus on getting better pilots? I want to keep Tengu in my hangar, by the way. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Your pilots are definitely lacking. EM8's pretty good. Graviton 10's pretty good. Disc Launcher 8's not bad either, to be honest. I would say pilots, honestly. Yeah. Like, even if you got something better, you wouldn't be able to make much use of it without a decent pilot. So, like, you'd need a good pilot anyway. I would first and foremost get a sniper pilot for EM rifle, because that is a weapon that you will 100% almost guaranteed never stop using, because EM rifle is just completely broken. So that's a solid one. The others, like, you might stop using Graviton at some point, you might stop using Disc Launcher at some point. You most definitely will stop using Voltaic RPG at some point. So, yeah. Get EM rifle first. And then maybe Graviton. Pilots, I mean. Oh, Sanji, there you are. Only a little bit late, my guy. Site 313 is good for mortars. Yeah. Basically, any of the 3 beacon maps are good for mortars. Which would be Site 313, Skyship 11, Imperial Temple. And I think that's all. Nade 10 or 12 are a good idea to max them out. I have my 12 maxed, actually. But I don't think it's really worth... It's a lot of credits, right? What a lot of people don't realize. Obviously, you do. You have several things maxed out. Just the amount of credits that it costs. It's like 2.5 million. Well, it's like 2.7 million, I think, to get something from rank 1 to max, right? From rank 1 level 1 to max is roughly 2.7 million. 1.7 million of that, so more than half, almost 2/3 of that, is just rank 6. Especially when it comes to weapons. It's really not worth putting in those extra levels. The reason you do it for mechs is for the extra energy capacity. And so by upgrading the mech, you get more, but you don't do it for the HP. You do it so that, you know, when it's maxed out, you get, you know, you have the extra HP, but you also have a massive boost in firepower by just having more energy capacity. So it technically boosts both by maxing out mechs. For weapons, it's just, you know, it's just a tiny damage buff every single time, and then when it's maxed out, you really don't get anything special. Some weapons have maxed perks. Nade Launcher does. It has a slightly shorter reload time, but it's not really worth doing. Honestly, I would focus on maxing mechs first, always, and then just leave weapons as an afterthought. Memes God, make sure that you're putting a colon, otherwise your ID doesn't count. Guys, please read pinned comment. Thank you. Yes. Several people are definitely not doing that. I'm going to look at your ID, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're not entered into the giveaway unless you pay attention to the pinned comment. Should I get Railgun 12 or Surge, or get Ember 12 and get double copy from GearHub? All of them are good, to be honest. Probably Surge first. You are in desperate need of a replacement for the Zephyr. Yeah. This is 12s. 12s. Okay. So yeah, get Surge first. It can work with quite a few weapons. If you really want to, you could put Arc Torrent on it, but if you can, then do something else. If you have like Nade Launcher, Nade Launcher is better than Arc Torrent at this point. So do that. And then Railgun you'd probably want after that. Or Ember. If you don't have a decent weapon for Surge, then Ember is a good weapon for Surge, so you could do that. What is a referral program? Look at my Scorpius with Cryo Javelin. I mean, I know the... Do you have the 12, though? If you have double 12s, that's kind of legit. Ah, no, okay. Oh, you do have a 12, though. Just a single one, but still. That's nice. What is this scuffed mess? That's very fancy. I like it. Is that a tanker hangar, brother? Come on now. Very sad. Guess it's pretty hard to beat top 500 without tanking, eh? Which mech should I replace for rank 4 Panther? Okay. Let's look. This is... I love it because you got just a auto cannon to just chill in there. I cannot imagine that it does anything. Per mag, you deal 5,000 damage. You may as well just not have it. Like, it basically does not exist. That's hilarious. I mean, Zephyr's definitely the worst mech out of all of these. Stalker's pretty close, though, but at least you get the damage boost. So yeah, probably Zephyr. You don't have any tanks in here, by the way. Which is not ideal. Though... I mean, just like with these three, you can hold your ground fairly well, but mostly from a distance is the thing. Panther will help, but it's not really a tank, so you'd probably want to replace the Stalker with a tank at some point as well. Okay, wait, what time is it? Sanji, are you here? Hold on. Is this man here? I am okay. But don't say Ben here like you were here on time, sir. I know for damn well that you weren't. I saw your first message. I am joining voice chat right now. Look here, pal. This guy. This guy's like, yeah, I've been here, bro. What do you mean? AK-47, okay. Rank up Seeker, Nomad, or Surge. Would probably put dual Ember 10s once rank 6. Oh, okay. Hangar is the red and white one. Sanji has them.
Okay, your stream was that going through my headphones?
Alright. You
I think
good?
I should be fine. I think I should be.
Okay. Kind of quiet. I have you cranked up to full volume though. Okay. Well, let me look at your AK real quick. Rank up Seeker, Nomad, or Surge. Okay. They're all good. You have a Nomad, but not in this hangar, which is interesting. I would replace the Panther, if I'm being honest. Especially since, like, Disc Launcher 12 is not a high DPS. Like, it's not a high damage weapon. The only reason you'd really use a 32 energy mech is for the sake of, like, lots of damage output. Like, your Guardian has double railgun 12s, which is good damage, you know, for your for where you're at for like 6,000-7,000 SP. Double railgun 12 is fantastic. Double disc launcher 12 is kind of mid. So probably replace that with a Nomad first and foremost. Secondly, I saw an Eclipse, bro. If you for CPC, you should be using all three of these, and then the Seeker and the. Honestly, this is a better CPC hanger. Not gonna lie, but since we're looking at this, basically the question is it worthwhile to have, you know, double Ember 10s on something, or is it better to have double minigun 10s on something? I would say whichever one of these seems to not be killing fast enough, right? Like, let's say you teleport on someone, and it just takes, like, it takes one too many shots, sometimes, right? Or you know, just generally, you end up dying relatively often with this build, then that means that you probably want more damage output. In the case of the Surge, let's say you cannot finish off, there's a lot of enemies that you can't finish off with the miniguns before the EMP runs out, which sometimes gets you killed. In that case, you probably want more damage output on the Surge. But ultimately, it's up to you. Your minigun 10 is already duplicated. If you have Ember 10 at rank 6, then okay. But otherwise, honestly, I'd say get Ember 12. Because that'd kind of be cheaper in the long run. Because you could use double Ember 12s once something's maxed. But I'm assuming you already have double Ember 10. Yeah, otherwise not bad, but if you're using, like, if you're running CPC, this hanger is much better. Not gonna lie. Okay. We have, like, 35 minutes left. I'm assuming you've been paying attention, Sanji.
Yeah, I just been like lurking. I didn't see you in the voice chat, and when I did join, like to the chat, it was like 20 minutes ago, and that's when I was
Yeah,
responding to
I was,
James about
yeah,
empty.
I pinged you in my chat, and I was like, it's fine. Okay, so I'm going to, so I got Sanjay in here in voice chat. He streams very often. He wants to do some hanger reviews himself at some point. but he hasn't really done very many. So I'm going to he's been paying attention. So he's going to do 1 or 2 hangers toward the end. So probably I will do like one more, and then Sanjay's going to I'll pick one. I'll read the question, and then I'll let Sanjay, kind of do his thing. And obviously I'll put my 2 cents in if I think it needs to be done. Okay. This guy. Should I double Ember 12 or buy Railgun 12? I don't have Ember Gun implants. Okay, fair enough. Railgun 12's worth having. Pretty much no matter what. Ooh, that's interesting. Because if you had a maxed Eclipse, then you'd put EM rifles on Eclipse, and that would be much, much better. This, you have, ooh. That's not ideal. 2 disc launcher builds is kind of sad. This is going to be kind of weak no matter what you do. Because it's only rank 5. And you wouldn't want, let's say, you wouldn't want like Ember Gun on an Eclipse. It's not really going to work. You can't put both of your EMs on Eclipse, so obviously, so they'd probably stay on Surge. So at that point, I would say the problem is you already have a Railgun pilot. Like, you already have a Railgun build on Panther. And you probably won't swap that for a while. So I suppose, since you already have this build going on, you're probably not going to want to make 2 Railgun builds. That's probably not going to work out very well. So I suppose go for Ember Gun. It would be better than Arc Torrent. Still not ideal, but it would be better than Arc Torrent. Let's be real.
I feel like a lot.
Yeah.
Just
Arc Torrent's sad. Like, the only thing Arc Torrent had going for it back in the day was, like, at least it had range of some kind. Like, it had sort of decent range. Now it doesn't really have that range anymore. So yeah, I go for that. Okay, Sanji, your turn. The stream latency isn't that bad, right?
It shouldn't, no. I'm just trying to copy the ID you're like trying to.
Oh, okay. So we got Reader here. He says, what should I get? Panther, Orion, or Ember 12s? You all should be able to hear Sanjay, by the way. I made sure. So he's going to answer that. Did you copy it? Or you want me to like send it to you in the chat?
No, yeah, I copied it. Right. I'm looking at a thing or two so I can see it. The implants and.
Don't worry about the implants. He's low level. He's not going to have great implants. So like don't even worry about it. He doesn't even have good pilots. It's mostly like finding good mech weapon combinations first and foremost. Doing what you can in that.
So he wanted 2 mechs or a weapon. I think right now he's just focused on mechs.
So he said.
Could replace Suffer, but yeah. What was the other?
Oh, it was deleted because apparently he was spamming it. Should I get Panther, Orion, or Ember 12? That was his question. Obviously, you could say other things, but his main question. Oh no, what?
Main question. I mean, I would recommend Orion at least. Replace it with Zephyr. It might work early on, but just does not work end game.
It's true. However, you don't really need Orion for end game, and he's only at 4k SP. So he's nowhere close to endgame.
No, true, but I feel like
What ember is this?
Panther.
Oh, that's number
But
6. Nice.
here he has Aegis, so here he
What is
has
he
to,
missing
like,
right now? I can already tell you. He has 3 tanks, which is very interesting.
true. Another like scout.
That is one thing, yeah. So you definitely want more speed. Having too many slow things is not great. But what kind of weapon is he missing?
Oh, just a sniper. Yeah.
Exactly. No range.
Yeah, I was just focusing. That is true. Yeah. Graviton 1, yeah, would take forever to implode.
If you have access to like EM rifle 12, well, no, if he has access to Ember 12, then he has access to EM 10, and that is 100% worth getting. I recommend that. Because again, like I said before, you can duplicate the EM 10. You can put it on a rank 6 medium mech. It's extremely difficult to get mechs from rank 6 to max, but it's pretty easy to get them to from like rank 4 to rank 6. Like, it's not a big deal. You have 3 close quarters builds, and I don't suppose any of them do particularly well, to be honest. The Ares should probably be replaced. I
That's
would
probably should be the
say,
first one. Yeah.
yeah. I don't really know what you could replace it with a Panther. It would start with 20 energy, and that would be nice for you. But you could also just get an Orion and rank it up 1 time. Or 2 times, actually. Nihilus. Appreciate, sir. We are... We got like 30 minutes left, but since Sanjay is here, we might stretch it a little bit. Much appreciated, though. Is that going toward the Hamter Fund, by the way? Brother, I'm starting a fundraiser for Hamscon to get the jumpy mech when it comes out, because he's such a freaking Lancer stan. But not when it comes. Probably not when it comes out. It'll be like, you know, if there's a cheap offer, I will probably get it for him. And so if anybody wants to you know, donate some amount for the sake of, you know, helping out with that, I would appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, I would say what you're looking for is slightly more speed, but that really only comes in the form of Redeemer until you get access to the legendary scouts. So maybe replacing Ares with Redeemer, honestly, is the first thing you should do. And then trying to get EM Rifle 10 would be a good choice. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Yes. Jaden is the programmer of the bot that I'm using to collect IDs. You need to make sure that you put in correctly. Look at the pinned message, look at the description, make sure that you have the letters ID, don't have like an apostrophe, obviously, you know, just the letters ID and then a colon, and then put your full ID number after them. Wait, this guy. Okay.
Yeah, what was the
So
question
this
for this
this
one?
one, the question is, he just says, "Tell me what I need to upgrade." So it's very simple.
Oh, okay.
But you could tell him to change some things if you thought his hangar was maybe not the best, which I already have some ideas. So before you know, I'm not here to throw you under the bus, but so I'll just tell you right up.
Mm-hmm.
Before I would even think about what would I upgrade, the first thing I'd look at is what do you want to keep? What do you want to replace? If you end up replacing it, if it just doesn't make sense, even if it's a good weapon, right? Helix Rack's a good weapon, but if it ultimately doesn't make sense long term, then you're not going to want to upgrade it. So the first thing you should do is, look at the hangar, make sure it's good, suggest some changes if you think changes need to be made, and then take those changes into account when you're thinking about what someone should be upgrading.
Fair point. Yeah, because
A good place to start, in my opinion, if you have any of the legendary scout trifecta, all three of them are the top three mechs in the game. It's ridiculous, but it is what it is. So if you have them, then make sure that those are your primary mechs that you're upgrading, I would say. Otherwise, in terms of weapons, just make sure that I would say, make sure it fits the mechs that you're using. So I'll leave this to you, Sanjay. Have at thee.
well, I was gonna suggest. I mean, if he is trying to upgrade a heavy, I mean, you should definitely focus on that and not focus too much on the tens, like you mentioned. Yeah,
Well,
especially for the
you're
Helix
taking
one.
it for granted that since he has it in here, he's going to keep it forever. I don't know why you assume that.
Mm,
Your job as a hangar reviewer is, should any of this stuff be changed? He doesn't need a heavy mech for it to have a good hangar, right? He does need
not
some things though. He
necessarily.
needs
Yeah.
decent speed. He needs range. He needs something that can take a hit, and he also needs a good brawler. At least one good brawler, preferably two. I typically go with um, two fast mechs for beacon running. One that you start with, one that you end with. Two brawler mechs in case things get dicey. One is good enough in some cases, but if you, again, it comes down to, like, if it ends up dying and you need it and you don't have one, then that is the difference between winning and losing. Same thing with having only one scout. Things like Helix Rack or like that sort of thing is an afterthought. That's only if you're not really using anything else. You need at least one ranged build. Typically, you don't need any more than one ranged build. Um, and then having something that is like a more indirect, like Helix, it used to be more necessary than it kind of is now. It's not as necessary now. But then you also want at least one tank. Typically, one is fine though. Pablo,
Or
hello,
yeah,
welcome.
typically one is okay. But yeah, for everyone, yeah, there's like three that
Yes.
Magly could technically replace.
Hmm. Basic rundown of what I look for in a good hanger, and that's for everybody watching too.
So I
So
mean,
with that
ideally,
said,
yeah. So
you know,
Ryan,
with that said,
Redeemer.
probably what would he probably want to replace? What does he not have? I should say.
Well, the tank, like you mentioned, so either get
Okay.
Aegis that'll probably be a lot better.
Yes, Aegis is a very good and cheap tank to use. So what would you probably replace that with? He has the two, well, just for the sake of argument, he has the 2 scouts. He has the range to build. Right? You could theoretically say, okay, the ranged build is dependent on the weapon, right? So you could throw that weapon on a different mech. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to tell you right now, probably if it's only EM8s, it's probably best on Orion. I wouldn't bother moving it to anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used Redeemer, so I don't know how useful he is. I mean, I would replace it for Redeemer, but having 3 scouts, I know is pretty beneficial.
I mean, if it's the Redeemer, I don't find necessary. If I would replace anything with a tank, I would replace Redeemer. Because at least Panther has a lot of firepower. Redeemer's kind of just there to be there. You know? It is the lesser of basically all of the scouts, with the exception of like Shadow on down, right? Shadow on down's crap. But like at least Killshot's the fastest mech in the game still. So at least it has that going for it. Redeemer is basically the sort of thing that you only get and upgrade if you have no other options. He has 2 much better options. He doesn't really need a third. He does need HP, so it's better to replace the Redeemer than the Panther.
Yeah, I mean that would be his tank then. I mean, a brawler
10 and 6 on both of these.
would be
That's
the
interesting.
Panther if he actually upgraded.
You could put double disc launcher 8s on Eclipse, to be honest. It's not that bad. I actually ran that myself, like as a 12 KSP player. I ran that myself recently, and it was not bad. I got several kills against a player using the radius, I might add. So like it's doable, and it's definitely pretty good on Eclipse. So that's not a bad idea. Embergon on Eclipse is painful if you're playing CPC. If you're playing free for all, then it's fine. But if you're playing like CPC, then it's not gonna be fun for you. I'll be honest. So at that point, yeah, there's that. Aegis with Disc Launcher wouldn't be terrible, but it's probably better with a higher DPS weapon.
Yeah, like, and then we don't know his inventory besides what we see here. So I mean, we can just give him, yeah, be like, hey, use this mech.
Speak up, please. Like I said,
Oh,
I have you
okay.
cranked up all
You
the way
can't.
on Discord. I cannot crank you up anymore.
Okay,
Okay, there
I'm
you go.
trying to move it closer. Yeah, that they didn't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I guess Aegis, but I feel like you probably put a better sniper, or just move the snipers to like Eclipse. Couldn't he just make it? I
This is
guess
true. He could.
deal just make it survive longer because it looked like
Mm-hmm.
he does. I mean, if he runs through both of those first, he doesn't really would have anything as a backup.
Yeah, I mean, most people would like start with the Surge, or maybe they'd start with. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you probably wouldn't use them back to back. You'd start with one or the other depending on the map. If it's like Macarena map, then you'd probably start with the Eclipse just because like that's a long range map. He would then be stuck trying to figure out what to put on the Orion, but it is a good point. You could put the
I mean,
RuFFles on
Orion
Eclipse.
can use a lot of weapons. To be honest, it just depends
It
on
can make use of a few, but I'll be honest, it's not that great with many of them. It's probably better than Redeemer is with Disc Launcher though, so there is that. And then the Redeemer, of course, will be getting replaced with an Aegis. putting Ember on an Aegis is probably not a great idea. And so Missile Rack is honestly something I would recommend. Missile Rack or Nade Launcher, whichever one you have, are both very solid. This also keeps you from having to commit to 2 different Ember Gun builds, so you can put the best of your implants on one, and then when you get your Surge to rank 6, you can put double Ember 10s on it, right? But anyway, let's not spend too much time on one person.
Okay.
RuFFles, can you make reviews just a bit shorter so you can help more people in less time? This is okay, short answer no. Long answer long answer is Sanji is here with me. And he streams a lot, honestly. He streams much more than I do. He streams like 3 times a week, right? He wants to get into reviewing hangars, but he doesn't really have any experience with doing it. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of helping him out, kind of breaking him in, you might say. So yeah, it'll take him a bit longer, but it at the same time, yes, it obviously you can't spend too much time on each one. Okay, let's take this guy, Moth Gaming. If you're looking at the stream chat.
Oh yeah, you're okay.
Be happy if you can would be happy if you can review my hangar and rate my hangar. Okay. By the way, what would be the best mech to replace with Orion when I get it? Okay, so he will get Orion soon. He doesn't know what to. Oh, okay. First thing I see. I already see some things. I mean, apart from like the sort of scuffed the sort of scuffed Guardian and Zephyr build.
That was that's the first thing I saw.
So,
I mean, this also pretty early on, but
yes. So obviously, he's not thinking too much long term just yet.
no.
But you do want to make sure that you're not wasting time upgrading crap weapons. Buying 8 energy weapons of like epic it's typically fine, because then he'll buy more epic mechs, and even legendary medium mechs have 18 energy, which is you'd probably just use 2 8s on there as opposed to a 10 and an 8 realistically. So like buying 8 energy weapons not a big deal. But like you don't want to encourage people to like invest in like 6 energy anything or
like,
anything like that.
I personally don't even buy 8s. Like I just
Yeah.
get the 12s and 16s at most.
Mm-hmm. Well, your end game you can't really afford to like, but like these people are like slowly moving up is what I'm saying. So like they can make good use of 8s if they buy it.
But even for medic back in the day, like I only got like 8s, or even used one single weapon, like a 10 or 12. Yeah,
I digress. And so, first thoughts. What are the first few things you see? What does he not have? First off,
Scouts, like Speedy Max. I mean, he does have Redeemer,
but he could have more speed. He could make good use of more speed, right?
Yes.
Sure. I would agree with that. I would say Killshot would be a fantastic addition. If you... he wants to get Orion. I would recommend that you buy Killshot first. And if you want to get Orion after that, then go ahead. Orion's a lot of fun. But I would say Killshot's probably more important. Apart from that,
missing a sniper.
No sniper, no range. Okay. So you're going to want some kind of ranged build. If he does get Orion anyway, let's say he doesn't care. He wants to get Orion. He just wants to replace something. What would you say he should probably replace? there's two obvious options, and I'm sure you're looking at the same two mechs and kind of wondering which one would be
Yeah,
better.
I'm just looking at the ranks. Probably the Stalker since he hasn't ranked it up yet, so he doesn't invest any more E coins
It's
into it.
not even the fact that it's a lower rank, it's the fact that
But
Orion and
those
Stalker
two,
kind of serve the same purpose.
fair
They're
point.
both damage
Yeah.
boosting DPS mechs. There's kind of no
It,
reason to have both of them. So, yes. If you do end up getting Orion, replace Stalker. But I would recommend, highly recommend, that you get Killshot first. So replace the Stalker with Killshot, probably. And then when you get Orion, replace the Zephyr. And that would be nice. In terms of builds, some of these are kind of sad. I don't like them. The Zephyr with fragment guns is probably going to be much better than the Redeemer with fragment guns. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I was looking like to see what he could swap
Nade
around
10,
here.
Arc 10. A Nade 10 and Missile Rack 6 Redeemer actually probably wouldn't be that bad. Redeemer enjoys burst weapons. Hashtag screw Killshot. Thank you, yes. Very. Hey, wait a second. Master Games. You're a freaking... You're a gifted member. You can do it the real way. Look at that. You don't have to pretend to be cool anymore. You can actually be cool. Anyway, Disc Launcher on Aegis is fine. It's really good early game, so I would keep that. This build seems kind of scuffed, but at the same time, it's probably not bad. So
Yeah,
I
it's
would
probably
say
the
it's
best
probably
one he
fine.
has. Yeah.
But let's say you put this on here. You put this on here along with a missile rack, right? One missile rack on Redeemer. The Stalker build's already ruined. I would honestly say put the other missile rack on Guardian instead of the Arc Torrent. So a missile rack / fusion cannon. And then the Stalker can be a kill shot or Orion if he really wants to, with whatever good 8 energy weapons he has. The weapons would have to be replaced anyway, because he only has 6s, he would probably want 8s. If you don't have anything good in terms of 8 energy weapons, slap long arm 8s on it. The fact that it's Orion means that it doesn't even matter that it's long arm 8. It'll still actually do some pretty good damage. I have used long arm 12s late game, and it is doable. So, yeah. Okay, but I think that's good enough for that Hangar. Again, let's not spend too much time on each one. What caused screw kill shot? Me starting the game. It was a really broken mech when I started playing. But it made people unreasonably upset that I disliked it, so I continue to dislike it because of that. You can call me petty, it would be accurate, but I also don't care. Okay, Airplane Dude. It says, hey RuFFles, can you give your thoughts on the Orion build? I don't have EMs yet, so I may do with Helix. Okay. We're going to have Sanji give his 2 cents, but I will make sure to I'll make sure to kind of, you know, guide through it. So mostly he's worried about the Orion. Probably the Orion is not doing fantastic, but generally it's a good idea to look at the entire hangar.
Yeah, to see what other things he has available.
Right. First thing, pretty obvious, once again, it's the same thing that most players suffer from, and it's understandable because early mid-game it's really difficult to get access to fast mechs. But you do need fast mechs. Preferably Killshot. Redeemer is decent, but Killshot's so much faster. So, yes, if you could replace the Zephyr with a Killshot, you would be in a much better spot in terms of control point mode. Okay, this other hangar is interesting.
Yeah, I was trying to see. Yeah, so you're just the first hanger, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah,
the
I'm
second
assuming so.
hanger,
Yeah, because
yeah.
he was talking about Helix. Disc launcher on Aegis is good. I know that this is very, very good early game, so keep that. This build is kind of whatever. Like, it's Sentinel, it's not going to be fantastic anyway. This build also... Is Graviton 10 better than Chain Gun 10 if you only have one of them? I'm actually not sure. If it is, then I would
I'm
put the
not.
Graviton on Guardian, because Guardian's just a better mech.
Maybe. I mean,
I
it is
don't know. I don't,
steel.
it's hard to say because it takes a solid 3 seconds for a single implosion. You know, other like the chain gun doesn't. It's just not. It's just not a fantastic weapon overall. But you know, is it better than a single graviton? I actually don't know. But yeah,
No.
um, maybe try swapping the graviton and chain gun on these two builds and just see if it does any better.
I mean, also you'll be able to keep your distance better just because the graviton adds
Both
that
of
to it.
both of these are kind of, yeah, they're both kind of like long distance mechs. You're not really gonna get too close. He has a frag gun 6 on it, but that's not necessarily because he wants to get close. I would hope anyway. Nade launcher 10 and missile rack 6. Very common combo I see early game. It's not bad, honestly, because the nade launcher's credits. I know that much. The Orion is decent. I think he was talking about he doesn't have EMs or something like that. It's very
Okay.
possible that like long arm 8s, like I said to the last guy, it's very possible that long arm 8s would still actually be fairly decent in terms of ranged weapons. Because like I said, there are some maps where you basically need a sniper in order to win. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. The Mech Arena map specifically.
Yeah.
You can use Helix, and you'll probably survive with Helix, but you still really need a sniper if you want good results. So it's worth trying. You probably own Long Arm 8 because there's kind of no reason that you wouldn't. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is like it might sound like it would be really bad, you know, because like it's an uncommon weapon, and it's probably only still rank 2 still. But it's also Orion. Like Orion boosts the damage by a crazy amount, so I don't. It probably won't be that bad. But if it is, feel free to keep this build and make sure you get a sniper weapon as soon as possible, but also a kill shot.
Yeah. Just to
Because you got a
have
lot
some
of slow mechs
movement.
here. You got a lot of
Yeah.
slow. This is your fastest mech. The Orion is the fastest mech, and that is terrible. When you're playing CPC, you're gonna lose a lot of matches just because, especially maps like, well, that'll be it for this guy. Especially maps like, what's the one I'm thinking of? Forbidden City, where it's, you know, my favorite map. The one with 5 beacons all spread apart. If it gets down to the wire, it's like you versus one other guy. It's just whoever runs beacons the fastest. Hero for fun. I can see your message. If you're talking about a previous message, I'm not going to scroll back and look at it though. Atharva, you missed the I. You have the ID and the colon, but the colon is space apart, and you missed the I. So make sure you fix that, please. But let's look at this guy. He asks any endgame suggestions. So pretty simple. Helix Panther. I see that a bit more than I would like to, honestly. You'll definitely try something different.
Oh,
Nice. Okay.
I see.
I recommend people like as much as possible mess around with what you have, especially when you're like in like early mid game in this kind of stage where it's like you don't have designated pilots for a lot of things. Like yeah, you have like you might have a this guy has like specific pilots, right? Like he has a pilot specifically for missile rack kill shot, right? But like early game
Yeah,
when you're like 3,000 SP, you don't really have any great implants, and if you do, you have them at like level 2. So it's like it's not a big deal. So what you could do is you can swap your weapons around and even swap your pilots around, but especially when it comes to like hybrid builds, swapping your weapons around just to see what works better. Because it doesn't cost you anything to change your hanger up. Typically, it's pretty obvious. You gotta, I would recommend running like at least 5 matches with each hanger, but typically it's fairly obvious in terms of like what actually works better than others. Like if something starts to work better, you tend to notice pretty quickly. But anyway, let's look at this guy. I'm assuming you're on his hanger right now.
yeah.
Okay. He's got the tank. Disc launcher H is it's a classic. It's very good. Don't change it. Arc Torrent 10 Guardian could be worse. I'm honestly gonna say go for it.
I mean, out of all the builds we've seen today, it's not the worst, but
It's
yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
still
very
doable.
possible that it doesn't really have any better options.
Yeah,
But
and it still works within the abilities and sturdy
yeah,
centimeters.
Nade Launcher 10 though is for credits. So if you have that duplicated or you could get that duplicated, it would definitely be better than Arc Torrent 10. But probably not a big deal. Missile Rack Kill Shot. You could also do Missile Rack Guardian, but then you'd have to do something cringe on Kill Shot, so that's probably not a
Yeah, I
big
was
deal.
about to say, yeah.
The Orion's a good sniper, right? You got good range. Panther is the classic sniper mech, but you do have a good sniper right here, so that's fine.
Yeah, at least he has a sniper.
This is not a late game build, but what it is it's carrying your heaviest helix weapons. So as of right now, it's helping you deal the most amount of damage with it as possible. So that's fine. I would say like go ahead and keep that. What he is missing is 2 things. One of which we've brushed on multiple times, the other one not so much.
I mean, a brawler, one that actually, like, can get in there and deal some damage.
Correct.
And, well, I mean, he does have a tank. He
Mm-hmm.
would benefit from another scout.
Another scout, yeah.
Yeah.
So a little bit more speed and something that is a better brawler, like good DPS. If you had Graviton 10s, like double Graviton 10s on Panther, that'd be fantastic. But you don't. Even on Guardian, it would actually be pretty good.
I was
You
about
could
to say even
probably
in Guardian,
run,
yeah.
if you could get and duplicate Graviton 10 and put that on Guardian, I would say that's probably pretty good for you for now. Because, I mean, like, at the end of the day, getting Redeemer would kind of help the speed problem, but, like, Redeemer's not that great for beacons.
Yeah.
And he does have this. He just doesn't really have anything with good DPS. Like, he has 2 things with good damage. One of them is his sniper, and the other one is kind of a suicide build, so.
Yeah, can't really be exposing himself.
How do you redeem promo codes? It's not a thing yet. The buttons there, they haven't made any codes that people can actually redeem yet. It's just there for when it gets released. Okay, it's probably good for that guy.
I was about to say, yeah, there's not much he can, like, change around.
You want to name? Of course, I have one of those new upgrade deals in my shop for upgrading my Bastion from rank 2 level 7 to rank 3. How does that deal affect the level of my mech? It's based on the level of your mech, I think, right? Either that or they just... I'm assuming they just give you the 8 coins, credits, and blueprints to get whatever... to get it to whatever level they're trying to tell you. Oh no, Nihilist, don't. Not like this. He's too young. The impressive part is that ID 13704 is actually online. Wait. Was that this guy? No. Who is that? I need to see. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Oh, it's Sub-Zero. No. Sir, you lied to me. What have you done? I've been lied to. Betrayal. Should I max out my EM rifle too? Yes. I already did.
Oh wow, that's an actual ID. Yeah.
Oh, 132704. Okay. You better not lie to me this time, brother. Oh, I know this guy. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He has a Redox. Okay. I mean, you know you're a champion gamer when you have a Redox. Let's be real.
He knows the OP meta.
A 6-digit ID. That is what Mayor and potentially Scape has, I think. 6-digit ID. Dang. Let me see if Scape has it. Yes. But he was on before Scape. Dang. That is impressive, actually. I had no idea. I've seen that guy multiple times. I just never really paid attention to the fact that his ID is so dang short. So I guess I know 3 people now with 6-digit IDs. No, Nihilus. He's saying max out EM Rifle 2, not EM Rifle 12. Mayor has a 6-digit, I'm pretty sure. If it's not 6, then it's 5. But it's definitely not 7. I have a 7. Okay, anyway, let's see if we got like another question in here. Should I max my Puma or Slingshot? You should do both. You should do it right now. Good. Platinum, how can you claim to be a competitive player if you don't have freaking Slingshot and Puma maxed? Okay, sir, calm down. Mr. I'm not even gonna pretend to know how to pronounce that. Max Lancer or Paragon? Nah. Look. Okay. Let's take this guy though. He got muted for spamming. But
I was about to say, yeah.
You get your wish, but you don't get your ID. Also, red. Well, no, I think as soon as it goes into the chat, then the bot records it. Because I was gonna say,
I
like,
think
I wonder
so,
if,
right?
I would assume, yeah, because otherwise it's like the if you get muted, it erases your ID from the giveaway thing. That would suck for you. Anyway,
I guess we'll find out.
very early game.
But I doubt it.
Honestly,
oh, he has the cryo. Okay.
Looks pretty good for early game. I'm not gonna lie.
I was about to say for early game, kind of knows kind of what to do at least.
Long Arm 8 is better than Pulse Cannon 8, though.
Yeah.
Having both of those weapons at their natural level in a free-to-play account, I can confirm Pulse Cannon is painful. Like, Plasma Cannon is nice when you get it. It's pretty strong. But then as soon as you go up a tier and you get Pulse Cannon, it's dog water, bro. It's absolutely sad. The just like pathetic damage that it does. I'd replace the Pulse Cannon with Long Arm. That's about it. Otherwise, it looks fine. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy. At least he has a scout.
Oh wait, who are you gonna win? You 1v1 some. What's going on? I need to know. Mayor's ID is only 6 digits, yeah. Well, I know it's less than 7. If you keep spamming after this one, you'll get muted for 24 hours. Yay. Okay, this guy. Falcon X has a veteran-ish free-to-play. I am not familiar with much of the new meta and stuff. How do I upgrade my hangar to make it more modern era? Very good question. Okay. So, Sanji, you have it up, I assume? If not, I'll give you a second.
There we go.
We going for 6 hours? No. I'm doing like, we're gonna do like maybe one more after this, but probably this is the last one.
Okay. Was there a question for this or just?
Yes, I already read it out. Basically, he said he's not very familiar with the new meta, and he wants to know how to kind of make his hangar more modern. You know, better fit for the current mech arena.
I see.
So of course, I said this earlier, but I'll repeat it for the sake of everybody in the chat, just kind of hearing how I typically go over hangars. First thing I look at is just like generally what kind of builds you have, right? The best type of hangars tend to have 2 faster mechs, 1 tank, 2 like DPS type builds, which in this case would be like the missile rack, and that's about it. And then at least one sniper, right? And then obviously more snipers is beneficial. One more tank could be in order, but otherwise, yeah, generally doubling down on fast mechs and doubling down on DPS builds is typically the more important. But you definitely want at least one thing to tank, one kind of tank mech, and another type of like long range build. In the form of like snipers, not mortars, by the way. So that's the first thing I look at, generally speaking. What you have is only 1 scout. The only other one available to you probably, well, actually, might not even be available to you. Because I imagine you got this when it was still uncommon. Because you have like a 7-digit ID yet. So you might not have access to Redeemer. But even if you did, Redeemer's not fantastic. So I would worry about getting a tank first.
I was gonna suggest Aegis, but I don't know
Yeah,
if he's able.
It's fairly accessible.
Okay.
It's available in tier 5, I think. So if you can get Aegis, then do so. Otherwise, just use Ares. You probably have Ares. And if you don't, then it only costs credits. It's not too bad. So do that. That's
Oh, there's
crazy.
20 energy.
Everything's very low level except for the Mortar Panther.
Yeah, I was checking that out.
That is very interesting.
Energy.
Specific, just because of what it is, I would say that you probably shouldn't remove it, because it's the only mech that you could put both mortars on, and that is definitely the
Yeah.
strongest weapon that you have. But like, I don't know why you did this. Like, in full honesty, I don't know why you did that.
Yeah, you're limited.
An Aegis for these disc launchers would be fantastic. It is one of like the best early mid game builds.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people do that, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I mean,
And for good reason too. Yeah,
how to build, yeah.
it's very very good. Um, Zephyr is mid, but it is
Yeah.
usable. And if you had Missile Racks on Stalker, that would actually be pretty decent in terms of DPS. But also probably Missile Rack on Killshot, and then Helix on Stalker would be the better way to go. And the reason is because if you have Helix on Killshot, then you're going to be very passive. This is your only fast mech. You need to be able to grab beacons with it. So if you're forced to keep your distance because your weapons aren't allowing you to deal damage to anyone who gets close to you, who is like contesting you for a beacon, Missile Rack's much better. Lots of damage in a short amount of time. It's a good DPS weapon, and it'll help you secure beacons. Yeah, you'll probably die faster than if you used Helix Rack, but, you know, staying alive in a Helix Rack build the entire match isn't actually that useful. Putting it on Stalker would allow you to boost the damage, so the Helix would be slightly more useful in that regard. And then at that point, you could replace the Zephyr. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Upgrading Long Arm 10 is not going to do you any good at this point.
And I was about to say,
So
and that's probably his best build.
You get
for him.
Graviton 10s are great. The problem is, like, you get those at like tier 6, I think.
Oh, probably nice.
So like it's gonna be kind of tough. But he has Nade Launcher 10, which means that he's in the tier just below that at very least. Or at least you should be in the tier below at that at very least. So yeah, getting and duplicating Graviton 10 would be fantastic for Guardian. The Disc Launcher on Aegis, Stalker, use Helix, Killshot, use Missile Rack. And that will be it for you. Nomad would be nice. Yeah, Nomad's always nice. How to get past the 4K power benchmark, like into 5K realm? It's mostly just buying higher tier stuff, ranking up your mechs and weapons. What about the giveaway? That is going to start. I think probably right now, because we're already 20 minutes over. Nobody wants to go the whole match with one mech. It's no fun. Some people do, but it doesn't win them the match, is the thing. Because, like, a lot of times what they'll do is, especially with a Helix build, they'll run away, putting Helix on something like Killshot. It's really good for keeping the Killshot alive, keeping your Helix build alive. You'll get a lot of what people consider to be free kills, where it's like, you kill them when they had literally no option of even possibly damaging you, because like you were entirely behind cover when you shot the Helix Rack at them. So you get a lot of easy kills. You could go the entire match without taking any damage, but Helix Rack doesn't have the kind of damage, and it doesn't have the kind of reload speed to be able to keep up with most other good weapons. That's why you need DPS builds. Helix Rack is not a DPS build. It's not even the maps. Like, Helix is sort of map dependent, but not really. You can use it on most CPC maps. So not even just the maps, mostly just the fact that like anyone who actually knows what they're doing with a DPS, with a legitimate DPS build, will be able to easily outperform whatever your performance is with a Helix rack. And then what it ends up being is you end up having no teammates, all your bots are dead, and it's just you versus like 4 or 5 enemies, and you just get like sacked over and over and over again. I laugh every time that happens. I love it when people do that, especially with it's when they do it with mortars. They spawn mortars first or something like that. I'll keep them alive as long as possible, because then I'll just kill them over and over and over again at the very end, and it's hilarious. But unless you learn why that's happening, you're never gonna know. Okay. Sanji, is there one question that sounds particularly interesting to you in the chat? You can pick one more if you want. Hello? I'm gonna take that as a no. Okay.
I'm trying to find one, but okay.
Are you good? Hello?
I think this one here.
You're not saying anything.
85, 15, 67. It's he's asking about
Okay.
if he's gonna get Ember, like for Surge, but here.
Bird Rush. My first preset, my main hanger is 2. My main hanger in second preset.
Let's focus on
That's
that.
other things I have, including main implants and buttons. I need some suggestions overall. Also, will be better to get Ember for Surge? Question mark.
We hear he has a sniper. I mean, I would
Yes.
like move those out of there.
But are the EM12s better on anything else? Is the question. Like competitive players, do you see them like? Do you think it'd be better to put EMs on Killshot or Orion or Chungus? Or would you just keep them on Surge?
I would say move it to Killshot and use those Helix on Chungus. So he doesn't have to move as much. But I'm guessing he's doing
The
the
Helix Chungus
achievement.
I can get behind, but I think the EM Surge is probably fine the way it is. And then Disc Launcher on Killshot, which is like, it's sort of the same thing as Helix, but you can be slightly more aggressive with it, and you're not completely worthless at point blank, which is something that you definitely need. Like, you need to be able to kill things up close. Let's say you're going for a beacon and someone spawns on the beacon right in front of you. Like, your job as a Killshot is to get beacons.
True. Yeah.
So then that's fine.
He can't really
It would leave your
capture
Orion.
with Surge, yeah.
You could put EM Rifle on Orion and Carbine on Surge. But I think everyone knows that EM Rifle Surge is a very, very good build. So, probably best to replace the Carbine with something just generally better. Maybe Missile Rack or something. Well, if you could keep the Disc Launcher on Orion and put Missile Rack on Killshot, to be honest, that'd probably be better. Okay, so he has a couple other random things over here. Mortars, he has max mortar 12s. No, you wouldn't want to use mortars if you already have Helix. You don't want to do both. Yeah,
Oh,
probably go
he
for
has
like
the
Misrec.
Arc 10 Mech.
Cause like you could go for Ember Gun, but like you don't really have anything that would benefit.
I was looking at it, unless he gives it up, because he doesn't have, what's it called,
Unless you,
Eclipse
yeah, unless you give up your
to
EM
swap
rifles
it
on
over.
Surge, which you probably don't want to do realistically. None of these other mechs work well with Ember. I see that you have some things here, but like, do you? I don't think you really need to use any of these. Um,
Yeah, because it's
it's like
either.
unless you get a Nomad or something,
I was about to say,
or an
unless you
Eclipse. If
use
you
it.
got an Eclipse, then you'd put the EMs on Eclipse. But otherwise, it's probably fine the way it is. Now, if you wanted to, you could put EM rifle on Orion, and then like carbine on Surge, which is doable just because it's Surge, and just so that you can see like, okay, you know, do you like EM rifle on Orion? More than likely, it's better on Surge. So at that point, you could probably keep this, put the Helix on Chungus, or even the Mortar on Chungus. I know you have Mortars, which I think Mortars are probably slightly better on Chungus, and then like Missile Rec 12 or something on Killshot. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that would actually work out better.
You have Legendary Ember Implant. It doesn't matter. Like you could have a maxed Legendary pilot with all the implants for it, max Legendary as well. Like if there's no good mech to put it on, then why do it? You know. What I'm saying is like it doesn't really make sense to incorporate an Ember build into your hangar at the moment. Not until you get something like something like Nomad or Eclipse.
Yeah, I was about
Nomad
to
you'd
say,
put the
yeah.
Embers on, Eclipse you would put the EMs on, and then you could put the Embers on Surge.
Yep. Yep.
Legendary Guardian implant, nice.
Oh, that's neat.
I mean, is that a reason to use Guardian? Not really. I mean, I don't think I'd change my opinion about it still. Like
We still like
about
Glass
Guardian with
Cannon.
EMs instead of Bricky. You could,
Mm.
but like it would be the same thing as using like Orion with EM rifle, right? Where it's like you could mark them and then you could shoot them with a single one, and then if the mark transfers, you could shoot the next guy with a single one. It's doable, but like realistically, EM rifle Surge is much better. EM rifle Surge is like an actual late game build. Basically, nobody uses EM rifles on Guardian or Orion or Brickhouse or anything else, except for Eclipse, sometimes Redeemer, right? So that's my main thought. It's my main thought right there. But feel free to try whatever you want to try. I'll be honest. But you know, unless you decide that you like using the EMs on something else, it's not a good idea to bother buying Ember Gun just yet. Because you're potentially kind of wasting your A-coins. Because like I said, it doesn't really make sense to incorporate it in your hangar as it is right now. Oh wait, Nihilus just 1v1 somebody. Nihilus, I hope you used Hemlock at very least. Did you use the Podgun Hemlock? Oh, he's got a tanker hanger. Look at that. He's got a tanker. I did indeed. Fantastic. Thank you. Did me proud. Okay. That will be the end of the hangar review process. I got ended. Nice. Okay. Last chance for everybody. Yes, time for the giveaway. Last chance for everybody. Make sure you look at the pinned message. The same thing is said in this stream's description. 211. Thank you, Sanji. If you want to be entered into the giveaway, you need to make sure that you have the letters ID and then a colon and then your ID number. No commas, no apostrophes. You can add a space after the colon if you want, it's fine, but I don't know if you can add a space before the colon though. Man, you're stretching it. I would not do that. I'm currently scraping my mechs off the ground. Nihilus wants to be given away. Look. I bet you'd be worth at least 5,000 Acorn. Don't put... Okay, Blazer, look. Don't put quotation marks around the ID. You're messing with me, bro. The quotation marks were to signify what you should copy, not to signify that you need to include the quotation marks. Bro just adds his ID in quotes. That's definitely not what the pinned message says. The instructions are indeed very simple. The keyword is the two letters with the punctuation being the colon. That is essentially the keyword, yeah. So if you don't have it exactly like that, it's not gonna work. They may be simple, but we are all stupid. Okay, fair enough. It's the first time. I imagine people just need time to get used to it. If you put it in once, it should be fine, but yeah, obviously feel free to put it in again. Glim Dream, you're forgetting the colon.
Oh, he's another 6-digit.
Oh yeah, nice. Unless he's like 6 colon, you just typed it wrong.
I mean, no, it does match his name.
Oh, okay. Can I spam to increase my chances? No, you cannot. You can spam to get muted by Red, though.
You'll get something.
You'll get something, yeah. Tommy, you added a comma, and that is not a colon. Look. Punctuation. Different ones have different names. Yes, theoretically you could spam it, but it's not going to increase your jail. Bro adds it in brackets instead of in quotes. My god. It doesn't need to be this way. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Niles. It's pristine demonstration of understanding that you got right there. It's brag. I know. My guy. There's going to be so many people that are disqualified just because they don't understand.
Gotta submit the AD, yeah.
Do it like that.
Yeah.
The bot is going to record that as a submission, by the way, but it's fine. If I end up winning, I'll just not give anyone anything. I'm kidding. I'll re-roll it. Look, saying please doesn't mean anything. Adding a space before the colon, again, I actually don't know what that's going to do. I don't think Jaco's here anymore. So he's not going to be able to tell us. Feel free to do it at your own risk, though. I mean, if you absolutely have to do it differently than what I tell you to do it. Oh my god. Oh no. Imagine if RuFFles are exist. I know, yeah. The winner is my free-to-play account. Who would have thought?
Who submitted this?
Yeah. It's a miracle. Okay, so real quick, while people get it in, the last few, God help them. You know, certainly they won't be doing it correctly, but a few people are, so it's fine.
It looks like, yeah,
Let me
they're
explain.
getting.
Yeah. So what's gonna happen is one person. I'm just gonna put it all on a wheel, and I'll show this on stream. I'll get all the IDs, put them all on a wheel. We'll spin it. One person wins, and then that person wins 1,000 Acoins. Except, I will spin another wheel, and there is a small chance that they get 10,000 Acoins, which has happened like 3 or 4 times already. So, yes. Okay. Blazer's got it in correctly now. Nice. Okay. There's at least 2 people have done it correctly. By the way, I said this before, but I'll say it again. If you put in the wrong ID, or if you like resubmit it, then it will count your latest submission. So like, don't put in someone else's ID, because then it's just going to replace yours. That would not be good. But also, like, if you typed it in wrong the first time, then just do it again, and it'll only count. But it's one submission per user, per YouTube user. So it'll filter out all of them. May RNG God help us. Yes. Okay. We are ending it now. Alright. Bot gave me big ol' list. Let's see how many people actually did it correctly. What if someone puts the same from different YouTube accounts? That's fine. I will, wait a second.
I mean, it wouldn't really.
I will. No, I'll look for
Once
duplicate
submission.
IDs. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be
I was
looking
about
for
to say.
duplicate IDs.
Then only gonna be submitted once.
Yes. Okay, let me change this to this screen. And then I'll just pull the wheel out in its own window. Get rid of this from the... Freaking nerd. Random YouTube video started playing. I don't know what that was about. Okay. Hold on. I have to clear my last one from my monthly like video giveaway. Okay, this should be fine. Pull this over. Okay. 61 people. Let me sort it real quick. Make sure that there's nobody trying to cheat the system. Look, I'm on to your shenanigans. I know better. Actually, there should be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in here somewhere. Oh, except there's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that what I put in?
Yeah, you should have. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I only put in up to
No.
7. So that is somebody's actual ID.
Is it?
I guess. But that means that it didn't count mine, which is good.
That's interesting.
I would assume that Jaco made it specifically so it doesn't count mine.
Oh, that's not even an ID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, yeah. Okay.
Is it not an ID?
I mean, I typed it in.
1 through 9? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of it then.
No player found ID.
Yeah. That's fine. Real quick. It should be fine. I don't think there should be any duplicates in here. But I'll just take a quick look. Yeah, it looks alright. Okay. One person. Mine isn't there either. You probably didn't put it in correctly. There were a lot of people who did not put it in there. Where's my ID? Look, if I looked for it, I would probably actually find it. So chill. The bot didn't count half of them.
I don't know if it's a bot thing. I think it was just people not submitting.
Hold on, let me tell
you.
he's on right now. Let me tell Jacob. Let me once again explain. You are too late, Dragon X. Once again, I need to explain. The only way that you got entered is if you put the letters I and then D and then a colon and then your full ID. You can't just put ID space and then your ID like Dragon X did. It doesn't work. You got to make sure you read the pinned message and the description. If you put quotation marks around it, it's not going to work. If you put a space after the ID between the before the colon, it's probably not going to work. If you do anything fancy with it, doesn't work. It only basically the keyword was ID followed by colon. Yes, Guardjack, you're correct. I explained this many times, but there's a lot of people who still aren't doing it correctly. How big is the damage to RuFFles wallet this time around? Hopefully not that big.
Wait. Just double check. So is mine in there? The 98.
ID, no, the... Wait, what was
your
yours?
video.
Sorry, what's your ID?
98. 681. 884.
9, oops. 98, 61, it's an 8 digit? No, it only goes up to 7. Okay. No, it's, it only counted up to... That is interesting. Yeah, it definitely did miss some of them. Oh, I know. I know that you did it. I know that you did it correctly.
I mean, it did get a lot of them, like, but I guess it's just so wrong. Like,
well, it looks like it stopped after a point, right? Like after the 7s of 8 digits, right? Like there should be a lot more, but there's just not. Oops. Like it goes through 1, through 2, through 3, through 4. through 5, through 6, through 7, then it just stops. RuFFles, your audio. What happened to my audio?
Oh, you're like cutting out like last time.
Oh no. Okay, this might be why. Hopefully that helps. I should also be able to just leave the call at this point. Because I think we're done here. Alright, I'll figure it out. Thank you for helping though, Sanjay. Okay. Yeah, we did, but it looks like... This guy went. It looks like there's a lot that aren't showing up. So I'm talking with the guy who made the bot right now. He's in Discord right now. Jacob, are you in the stream right now listening? If you are, then like take a look at this. It only goes up to the 7 the 8-digit IDs that start with 7. There should be a lot more after that. There's a lot of players with 9-digit IDs now. So it should go well past the 7s of 8 digits. This is like sorted, by the way. Yeah, you have an agent, yeah. Maybe it's capped to 60 entries only. Well, we had 61, including the winner. So it stopped after 61. I don't see him in chat, though. Sentry's audio is bro. I am not Sentry. My audio seems decent. He's not responding right now. No, yeah, it's over. It's over. Okay, you're in this stream, Jaco. Well, like I said, okay, it's only going up to the 7s of 8-digit IDs, but it should go much further. I know for a fact a lot of people in here have 9-digit IDs, and some of them put it incorrectly. Yes, Jim, bro. I don't know if there's a way to recover the IDs that we didn't grab. So I guess at this point we have... Let me unpin this, because that's not important anymore. At this point we have an option. We have 2 options. Either... I'm gonna make a poll, by the way. me write it out real quick. So we have two options. And there's a poll up there if to vote. Either we stick with this guy that we got, we let that be the winner, right? Or I will go through the stream replay. I'll end the stream. I'll go through the stream replay. We'll make sure I'll spin it some point, probably like Tuesday. It's gonna have to be like Tuesday, because my finals for my semester are literally tomorrow, so it's not gonna be for another like day or two. So I have to go through the entire stream replay, find all the IDs, collect them, and then spin it again. I won't stream again. I'll just spin it again, and y'all are gonna have to trust me on it. You can get all the IDs from history. Well, if you can, we'll see if it looks right. If you can, then I would appreciate if you could do so sooner rather than later. I don't know how long that would take. Oh, you can get it after the stream. Okay. I see what you're saying. That's assuming the bot works the way that it's supposed to. Anyway, someone at some point is going to go through the stream after it's done. Maybe Jacob can get his bot to work again. Your ID's not that. I'm aware this is the issue that we're having. So yeah, vote in the poll. 39 people voted. Pretty clear. Most people want to make sure that they have a chance. Split the reward. Give it to a guy who won. I don't think people would be okay with that. Let's be real. I mean, this guy's still gonna have a chance to win. His ID is going to be in there again. So yeah. It looks like that is what we're going to end up doing. 48 votes. I don't think it's the decision's pretty obvious. Okay, thank you all for voting. I'm going to end the stream now. The winner. This is not the winner because this, like, we didn't get all the IDs in here. It's very obvious that it didn't collect all the IDs. So we're gonna have to go through this stream replay. We're gonna have to get all the IDs. And I'm gonna have to do it all over again. This will probably not be finished until Tuesday or something. So a couple days from now. I will make an announcement on Discord, but I don't think I'm gonna bother announcing it on YouTube. I'll be honest, cause I'll just get a bunch of people looking for a giveaway under the post or whatever that I put it in. Brother, I don't know. So yeah, I'll probably just announce in Discord. Feel free to join the Discord. The link's in the description, so you can keep up to date with that. Otherwise, yes. Apologies to everybody for making this take longer than it needed to. And for us not actually having a winner today. But y'all voted. And we'll make sure it's a fair spin. No worries, Jacob. I mean, technically, it's the first field test, so it was bound to happen at some point. So yeah. Yes. Thank everybody for stopping by. If you just got here, then technically speaking, you could look at take a look at the description of the stream, the first few lines where it shows you how to enter. I think theoretically you could still enter by now, but I'm going to end the stream now. So you know, make sure to do it like literally right now. Not the way that Sentry just did it. So yes, thank you all for stopping by. I will see you possibly Tuesday. Take care.